royal seals of the Joseon Dynasty will be returned to their rightful home in Korea with the visit of U.S. President Barack Obama next week. A signature collection campaign in France is ramping up international pressure on Japan to apologize for its wartime sexual slavery program. And Korean actress Jang So-hee will make her comeback to the Korean showbiz industry after a long stay in China. Hello and welcome to News Today on KBS World. It's Tuesday, April 15th. I'm Luke Clary. Korean national treasures that were taken to the U.S. during the Korean War will be returned next week on the occasion of U.S. President Barack Obama's visit to Korea. Royal seals of the Joseon Dynasty will be back in Korea soon.
This seal was used by Emperor Gojong in 1897 during the Korean Imperial period. These are official seals of Joseon which were used to announce royal directives or appoint government officials. Sugang Taehwanjebo was offered by King Sunjong to his father, King Hyeonjong, and is considered Korea's national treasure.
유네스코에서 인정한 세계 기록문화유산으로 등재 신청을 하려고 지금 준비 중에 있습니다.
These seals were taken out of the country illegally by the U.S. forces during the Korean War. They were seized from the families of the U.S. veterans last year during an investigation. The U.S. has decided to return 9 items in time for President Barack Obama's state visit to Korea next week. 2 other items may be returned. One is the royal seals of King Hyeonjong, which KBS reporters had confirmed were kept by a private collector. And the other is Queen Munjeong's seal from the mid-16th century, which a museum in Los Angeles had acquired from the same private collector. Washington's decision to return these Korean treasures follows an international treaty, which stipulates that plundered cultural assets should be returned to the original owner countries. But it is also meant to convey President Obama's respect for America's key ally.
Former shipping magnate Kang Dongsoo of STX Group has been arrested on charges of embezzlement and breach of trust. The prosecution plans to further probe the chairman's ties to politicians and government officials.
Former STX Group chief Kang was arrested early this morning for embezzlement and breach of trust.
성실히 앞으로 수사를 더 받도록 하겠습니다.
Judge Yoon Gang-yeol of the Seoul Central District Court approved of the prosecution's request for an arrest warrant because there are legal grounds for his criminal charges and Kang is a possible flight risk or may even destroy evidence. On April 8th, the prosecution had asked the court to issue a warrant for Kang, who was charged with inflicting his company with nearly $300 million in losses and embezzling almost $52 million for himself. Prosecutors suspect that Kang had provided illegal support to troubled STX affiliates, such as STX Construction and STX Dalian Company, and caused the parent company to lose almost $300 million. The disgraced capitalist is also accused of embezzling $52 million of company funds for personal use. With Kang in jail, the prosecution is planning to conduct additional probes into suspected bribery with politicians and government officials. The court also issued arrest warrants for 3 other former STX Group executives who allegedly conspired with Kang.
The number of workers earning over 100 million won, or about $96,000 US, has doubled in the last 4 years. Meanwhile, the number of low-income workers is also on the rise, in a testament to the widening income gap in the nation.
The monthly salary of this supermarket chain worker doesn't exceed $1,000 US. Despite her 7-year experience, her salary barely exceeds the minimum wage. The number of workers getting less than $28,860 annually stood at some 10,160,000 people in 2012. That's 400,000 people more than 4 years ago. But while low-paid workers' salaries remain unchanged, the number of workers receiving more than $96,000 annually had more than doubled during the same period. In 2008, the number of workers whose annual salary exceeded $96,000 recorded 194,000 people. But in 2011, their number reached 360,000, and in 2012 surpassed 400,000. At least 6,000 of them received more than $480 in annual salary. Only 600 of them were the executives of listed companies. Most of the remaining 90% are presumed to be either the heads of conglomerates or highly paid professionals like lawyers.
또 호봉급이라든지 이런 이제 경직적인 임금 체계에 의해서 계속 올라가게끔 되어 있고요. 중소기업 일자리들은 임금이 계속 올라갈 수가 없는 그런 단순한 어떤 그 직무급 일자리로 돼.
Income polarization will likely remain severe in Korea, as many retirees have no choice but to take low-paying jobs, while the positions of social workers, which are in large supply these days, don't offer generous compensation either.
A signature collection campaign has begun in France to raise awareness about the plight of former sex slaves of the Japanese army. Highly influential figures have joined the calls for an apology from Japan.
Various works have been installed at major tourist spots in Paris to educate the public about so-called comfort women who were forced to serve Japanese soldiers during World War II. They are part of a campaign seeking to collect 100 million signatures to demand Japan's apology.
Pour éviter que ça se reproduise, pour que voilà, parce qu'il faut il y a certaines causes que je pense effectivement si on peut les éviter.
This Frenchman explains to those passing by why the issue of former comfort women must be solved. He is Professor Jean Salem from the University of Paris. He also organized lectures about the issue of comfort women, presented their testimonies, and will soon publish a book to raise awareness about wartime sex slaves to French society.
Mais le but général, bien sûr, c'est d'obtenir les excuses et les indemnités pour les dernières survivantes.
As more influential figures are joining the campaign, the European society is gradually learning about the devastating effects of the wars that took place in Asia. The campaign is also expected to inspire the international community to demand Japan's apology. To mark the centennial anniversary of the outbreak of World War I, the signature collection campaign will be expanded in June to all areas in Europe that were devastated by the war.
Most libraries are stocked with books that have mass appeal rather than rare and special tomes. But recently, specialized libraries are sprouting up across the country.
This is an old Korean-style house located in the heart of Seoul. Children read out the books written in the old Chinese characters. The instructor is none other than the head librarian. This is a children's library that aims to teach Korea's traditional culture to children.
시골에 외갓집에 가서 공부하는 식으로 그런 식으로 우리가 그런 걸 익힐 수 있게끔 하고 또 놀이문화로 통해서 옛날에 이런 걸 했구나.
This library located inside a park features bookcases and tables made out of paper. Since the library specializes in public art, works of famous artists are displayed throughout the park, and the related books and blueprints can be found inside the library.
공원에서 쉽게 작품들도 볼 수 있고 중간에 도서관이 있어서 책들을 보면서 쉽게 더 이해를 할 수 있어서 좋았던 것 같아요.
Libraries these days needed to reinvent themselves because besides going to the library like in the past, people now have many more ways to access information through such means as the internet and social network sites.
다른 매체나 다른 채널이 제공할 수 없는 그런 새로운 정보와 지식을 제공함으로써 도서관 나름의 또 생존 전략이 될 수 있다고 생각합니다.
But there needs to be steady support and interest, since it is quite costly to acquire and maintain rare and special materials.
A recent study shows that more than 60% of those who have undergone heart disease surgery face higher risk of stroke. Doctors recommend that heart disease patients get their brains checked as well.
This man in his 60s suffered a stroke because the blood clots in his heart permeated his brain. His right eye can't see well now because neurons in his occipital lobe, which controls the vision, had died.
이렇게 보면은 여기까지는 다 보여요. 근데 완전 이렇게 사이드가 안 보이는 거예요. 여기는 보이잖아요. 제가 손이.
A domestic university hospital has conducted a study on the brains of some 180 patients who had undergone or need surgery for clogged heart blood vessels. The results showed that 63% of them had narrowed cerebral arteries. Atherosclerosis usually occurs simultaneously in all blood vessels. The blood vessels in the heart and the brain become affected the most because they are relatively narrow.
우리 몸의 혈관은 다 이어져 있기 때문에 그 고혈압, 고지혈증,
당뇨가 있는 환자라든지 그다음에 흡연한다든지 스트레스 등이 우리 몸의 혈관을 파괴시켜서 심근경색이나 뇌졸중을 같이 일으킬 수가 있습니다.
Doctors recommend that those who have a heart attack receive brain examinations, while stroke patients are advised to check their hearts. About 80% of cardiovascular disease patients also have high blood pressure, while 50% suffer from diabetes. Therefore, it's crucial that they keep tabs on their blood pressure and blood sugar levels.
The warm weather is calling people to take spring outings. Here's a great way to enjoy both the season and fine art, the nation's museums. Here's a look.
A mountain by a lake. Cherry blossoms are in full bloom. A peacock is taking a walk in the garden filled with the scent of Japanese apricot flowers. It looks like a beautiful park. However, this is a museum in Yongin, Gyeonggi Province.
자연이나 이렇게 꽃이 너무 아름다우니까는 그런 게 너무 조화롭게 잘 돼 있어갖고 좋은 것 같아요.
A children-themed exhibition is now open at the museum. A wide variety of works ranging from porcelain to paintings are on display.
어린아이의 순수함을 사랑한 우리의 아름다운 전통과 함께 가정의 행복이라는 변치 않은 희망에 대해서 공감할 수 있는.
A museum is at the end of a path through a birch forest. It was designed by Japanese architect Tadao Ando, a winner of a Pritzker Architecture Prize. The museum itself, the surrounding landscape, and exhibits on display together form another artwork.
인간이 만들어 놓은 작품과 자연이 만들어 놓은 작품을 같이 공감하면서 볼 수 있는 그런 뮤지엄이라고 보시면 되겠습니다.
These museums are serving as a perfect getaway for people who want short escape from their busy everyday lives.
Korean actress Jang So-hee will make her comeback to the Korean showbiz industry after a long stay in China. She'll be starring in a new KBS drama for the first time in 4 years.
Actress Jang So-hee will play a female lead in the new KBS TV series, A Cuckoo's Nest. The show is about a woman who volunteers to be a surrogate mother as a way to take her revenge on another woman. The new TV series will be written by Hwang Sun-young and co-produced by Kwak Ki-won and Baek Sang-hoon. Sibling duo Akdong Musician dominated domestic music charts last week after they released their new album. The music site Melon says that the duo's new song 200% topped its list from April 7th to the 13th. High 4 and IU's Not Spring, Love and Cherry Blossoms came in second. The duet song between Yoon Min-soo and Shin Yong-jae, Connection, ranked third. Singer Kang Sung-hoon will return to the stage after a 10-year hiatus. He was a member of the idol boy band Jet-Skis, which enjoyed a huge following back in the 1990s. The singer will release a digital single song entitled Couple on Tuesday. The song is a bossa nova-style remake of the boy band's hit song.
The way that Korean homemakers arrange their kitchens has changed, with newly built apartments featuring combined spaces for dining and leisure. Here's a look at this trend.
As the importance of family meals remains unwavering in modern Korea, family members are spending more time in the kitchen. Many apartments feature the main living area that's hinged upon the kitchen. Living rooms and kitchens are no longer separated by walls. In the past, kitchens found in Korean homes were a place of toilsome labor for women. It wasn't uncommon to see women hunched over the kiln to cook for the entire family. It was only after the 1960s that most Koreans were able to stand up straight in the kitchen when designs changed dramatically. Nowadays, it's not even unusual to see men cooking for their families. And seeing the whole family spending time together in their kitchen is no longer surprising. Kitchens these days serve as areas for family gatherings even more so than living rooms. Kitchens that are incorporated into the living room are gaining more and more popularity. They even feature wine bars and study areas.
주방은 다양한 문화 활동이 이루어지는 공간이라고 볼 수 있겠습니다. 특히 대면형 주방 공간의 플랜은 지금까지 주부가 혼자 벽을 보고 요리를 하던 그런 형태에서 벗어나서 부부가 서로 얼굴을 마주보고 요리도 같이 할 수 있고 또 음식을 같이 즐길 수 있는 소통의 그런 장을 만드는 데 크게 기여하고 있습니다.
We visited an exhibition to get a few glimpses of the latest trends in kitchen design. It puts on display all kinds of kitchen furniture and appliances. Now that the kitchen rules the scene, even dishes are used as decorative items. The desk and floor lamp make this kitchen look like a study room. Kitchens of these days come in various designs. The sink features curved lines. Dining tables are produced in larger sizes to accommodate entire families. And in this apartment, the kitchen is the first thing to meet the eye when you enter the front door. The sofa, which is usually placed in the middle of the living room, was pushed all the way to the window. The central part of this apartment is occupied by the dining table, the kitchen counters, and the sink. The sink and the microwave oven were installed in the middle by relocating the water pipes and electricity lines. This kind of arrangement is called a kitchen island. If you want your kitchen to be at the center of the action in your home, storage space is crucial. It's important to keep your kitchen free of clutter, or else it will look too cramped. One way to pull this off is to use an entire wall as a storage space. This kitchen has a chalkboard for the kids. The children can draw pictures or play while their mom cooks. This kind of kitchen layout is very eye-catchy for visitors.
쌍방으로 소통을 할 수 있는 아일랜드형 주방이면은 아이한테도 좋고 뭔가 일을 하지 않아도 앞에서 잡담만 해줘도 서로 이 설거지하는 게 요리하는 게 따분하지 않을 수 있다는 거죠.
Kitchens are not just for eating. You can also read books or do other activities. You can even install bookshelves. Reading books over a cup of tea will make you feel as if you're in a nice cafe. Kitchens are no longer only spaces for cooking. Their growing role is changing family lifestyles in big ways.
Now we'll take a look at the markets, followed by the world weather. That's it for this edition of News Today. We'll see you again at the same time tomorrow. Have a great day.